I was not going to say anything about a man called Penuel the Black Pen on X. I spoke briefly about him last year. I said he has millions of kids with million women across the country and he doesn't maintain those kids. I mean, he flat out said that the mother of his kids are responsible for fostering a relationship between his kids and himself. He won't make an effort in trying to build a relationship with his kids. The women should do that if they want financial support from him. Now, as a mother, I was pissed. Women do the heavy load when it comes to parenting, and then the men are just sitting there being stupid and entitled. I felt bad for saying Penuel is a deadbeat because I was angry at the fact that he said AfriForum Boer Group has the right to build their own white Afrikaner-only schools and the government has no right to force their black kids into those Afrikaner white-only schools, no matter how close they live next to these Afrikaner schools. So basically what he was saying is that black kids rather attend schools that are so far away from their homes rather than go to schools that are in their feeder zones. Public schools that are endorsed by AfriForum and operate like private schools, but yet they are public schools. Anyway, I asked Penuel, who will pay for transport? If my child can't get accepted in a school that is 5 minutes away from me, then where do you suggest I take my child to? A school that is hours away from my house? Who is going to pay for the transportation? What about my child's physical well-being? Waking up early, coming back late, too tired to do homeworks, etc., etc. It doesn't make sense that we have Afrikaner-only public schools. We are a rainbow nation. Hence, every child, whether black or white, must be together in the same yard, getting the same quality education. And then I dragged Penuel's parenthood into the mix to make my political argument, which was tacky, I must admit. And then he said something that threw me off. And I was like, you know what? Screw the guilt. I'm going to tell you a new one today, my son. I have time. So in South Africa, we are currently plagued with violence against women and children. There's a story about a 6-year-old little girl who was sexually violated at school. Naledi and I have more details about that story. I'm just going to scratch the surface to make my point about Penuel, the black pen. This 6-year-old was told by the caretaker of the school to go clean a classroom alone. She enters the classroom and that's the last thing she remembers. She goes home and she was bleeding from her intimate area, and that is when her mom realized that her daughter has been violated and they took her to the hospital where they extracted foreign DNA from her body. Now, they needed to find a match. They tested it against the caretaker that told her to go clean the classroom alone, and it was not a match. They tested it against her transport driver, and it was not a match. They tested it against the security guard of the school, and it was not a match. Now, they wanted to test it against the white male principal of the school, but he refused to submit his DNA, and the police did not bother to subpoena him to submit his DNA. The police treaded lightly when it came to the white principal because of his skin color, and we know that the police of this country are scared of white people. So naturally, they wanted to throw away the case until the victim's mother went on a media tour to expose the school and get the police to subpoena the principal to submit his DNA, sending the country into a frenzy. This principal went as far as get the little girl a transfer letter to another school and blamed the little girl for trying to devalue the school, putting the school in a bad light with her rape ordeal. The principal wanted to protect the school at the expense of a little girl who was sexually violated. The principal was seeing that this case was getting media attention. It was getting political. It was contributing to the already racial tension between blacks and white because of this whole, white genocide saga. So he got AfriForum to represent him to add fuel to the fire. Now that AfriForum is in the mix, people are angry, of course, but then what made us more angry is that the Minister of Police lied about the principal submitting his DNA so that black people can stop protesting throughout the country to calm us down, to dumb us down. The minister said that the principal's DNA did not match the foreign DNA found from the little girl's body, but we all know that the principal never submitted his DNA to start with.
Minister uyavela uthi i-DNA zika principal zithathiwe voices because the country was like only yesterday when a brigadier and station unit commander told Mama Cwecwe actually the DNA principal was never taken.
Bullshit! So guys, this video has been circulating. And in circulation of this video, there were things that were said on this video by Umama, as you can see down there. Umama said a lot of things, but the most important thing that caught the country's attention was that the principal's DNA was never taken. So we were lied to, guys. We were lied to in front of our faces. And it can only be one man, guys. The one man we entrusted and thought he could be honest with the whole process, Edward Senzo Mchunu. That's him right there, guys. That's him. This man right there. This man is the Minister of Police, guys. And we entrusted him to do his job, and fair and square. You lied in front of our faces, in front of the whole country. Guys, come on.
I never thought it would be possible that the people that are supposed to protect us will lie to protect the minority that has oppressed us for generations. What does this have to do with Penuel and his million kids and baby mamas, you may ask? Ever since the white genocide saga started, I've been watching Penuel closely. This is the black guy that used to pay a subscription fee to AfriForum, supported AfriForum to have public schools that only allowed Afrikaans-speaking kids only to be admitted in those schools. Supported white billionaires like Rob Hersov, who is constantly undermining black people, going on public media spaces saying black people should stop trying to be billionaires, stop aspiring to crack into the private sector. Those spaces aren't meant for you blacks. Blacks should stick to basic jobs that keep enough food on the table. Don't go for extravagance, go for basic because you aren't great like white people. That's how low Rob Hersov thinks of black people. And Penuel, with his million kids across the country, support that notion.
What I thought, and I posted this on Twitter as well, is what white people want in this country is they want black people to behave. Go to school and study hard. Go to church and be a good Christian. Be a good employee. Don't steal. Don't commit crime. If you're poor, if you're a poor black, be at peace and be thankful with any freebies that white people through the tax and the government give you. If you're a talented, educated black, white people will then elevate you. They'll make you a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or an accountant so that you can sit on their table. And if you speak their language, which is the language of money, which goes to the South African Reserve Bank, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, all the way to the biggest stock exchanges in the world, and the Central Bank of London and all these other places, white people are comfortable to make you a front. Like a Cyril Ramaphosa, like a Musi Maimane, like a Patrice Motsepe. You're a black person who plays according to white rules and makes sure that white people remain strong and powerful. Aliko Dangote is allowed to be the wealthiest black man on the continent because the way he operates is like a rich white person. White people get to invest in Dangote, the Dangote Group, either on the Nigerian Stock Exchange or through the London Stock Exchange. And nothing that Aliko does breaks white wealth. Nothing that he does goes against the way that the American dollar runs the money system across the world. This is the world we live in, and I was so happy listening to Rob say this stuff. Take time, watch the speech. It's 24 minutes, 25 minutes long, and let's engage. You know, these are conversations that those of us who are a bit smarter, who find ourselves to be philosophers in this new age, should be talking about. Don't make it black and white. Make it about good and bad people. Make it about rich and poor people.
I didn't know that being philosophical in the new age meant being a house slave for white people. I didn't know that being a clever black meant being a subservient to white people, being inferior to white people so you can avoid confronting the injustice done to black people so you can gain in the private market owned by white people, being rich at the expense of poverty-stricken black people so you can flex your muscle on X and claim that you are smart and you are clever and you drive the biggest and latest cars because the white people allowed you to own those. I was going to ignore Penuel because since the white genocide, he has flipped. It looked like he was backing black people. I was proud of that. Until he said the little girl lied about being sexually violated. He took to X and said, since the DNA cleared the AfriForum White Principal, this case is hopeless, and to make it worse, the credibility of a 7-year-old is questionable. Even if she pointed out the perpetrators, we can't confirm if she was really sexually assaulted. I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Bitch. The minister went on national television and lied about the principal's DNA being taken, and somehow we blame the little girl. And I'm like, you know what? Screw the apology. Screw me feeling bad for dragging out his family dynamic to make a political statement in the past. In fact, his family dynamic is proof of how he is treating this little girl's case on social media with hate and malice toward a black girl. You and the principal are not actually far off each other, except he didn't throw his seeds all over the country and violated the women's peace, value, and aspirations of having a family unit. No woman carries a baby for 9 months only to accept being a single mother with no family unit or no support. You violated these women's virtue. You violated the mothers of your children by giving them kids with no real tangible support. Today, you have over 1 million kids across the country with no real father figures in their lives. You are contributing heavily to the no father household statistics. Your kids that didn't ask to be here are now part of a statistic. How sad is that? As a father, how do you feel about putting this little girl's father through hell with your statement when he's grieving the lost innocence of his daughter? What does this say about your parenting skills? Oh, I forgot you don't have any. I mean, it's hard to parent over 1 million kids across the country. You don't have love. You don't know what it's like to love a kid. If you did, you wouldn't say such things about this little girl. Even if the principal's DNA was not a match for real, there was no need for you to feel the need to be bold enough to write such careless statements on social media about a little girl. Attention seeking will be the death of black men, I tell you guys. Out of your 1 million kids, I don't think you have a daughter. If you had a daughter, I feel bad for her. But I know you have sons, and what are you trying to say to your sons? That it's okay to harass a girl, you will get away with it because the system that is meant to protect criminals, low lives, and sex offenders, you'll surely get away with it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Penuel, the Black Pen on X. He paid a subscription fee to AfriForum, supported Afrikaans only public schools, supported Rob Harsoff when he said black people should stop aspiring to be great but strive to be mediocre to survive, and now questions a 7-year-old little girl who was indeed raped since the false DNA of the AfriForum principal was excluded as a match. Treat black people like trash by giving them babies, knowing damn well he won't be around to raise nor support these babies. This is how low he thinks of us. So I am not even going to hold my breath when it comes to this guy. This is the guy that says he is clever, he's philosophical, because what? Because he listens to Rob Harsoff, because he is actually okay with striving to be mediocre. He's actually okay in doing the bare minimum just to put bread on the table. He does not support black excellence. This is exactly what he was saying in that little video of his praising Rob Harsoff. Now, we will discuss Rob Harsoff in the next segment. I will show you the kind of animal he truly is. But as for Penuel, I was really rooting for him. I was watching him very closely for the past 4 months. And I was rooting for him when he started backing black people up, because his podcast, his public platforms on social media garner a lot of attention. He is responsible for being the voice that unites black people on these international stages. But instead, he's using his platform to defile a little girl, to blame a little girl for getting sexually assaulted. No, we are not going to do that. Some TikTokers, some podcasters, some content creators use their platforms for attention seeking. And they say the most hideous things, the most out-of-pocket things in the world to try to garner attention at the expense of black people. I realized that. I realized that his media platform, his social media platforms are just there for decoration. He has nothing to add, nothing valuable to add to the black society and the progression of black people. So, yeah, I'm gonna pay him no mind. He's a douchebag. He's an asshole. And I urge you guys to go on X and report his account, basically. Go on X, it's called Penuel the Black Pen, reports his accounts. Because really, this is how he treats young black girls. I can only imagine how he treated his mother. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking